You float, weightless and quiet, in a realm where the ordinary rules of your world feel distant, almost imagined. The black velvet of space stretches endlessly around you, dotted with stars that pulse like faint, ancient whispers. You notice the subtle way light bends, curving around unseen masses, as if space itself is breathing slowly, deliberately, around you. Each movement feels slower here, not because you move differently, but because the universe invites you to notice the small, almost imperceptible rhythms of existence. Gravity is no longer a simple pull downward. Here, it becomes a language, a gentle conversation. You sense it as a delicate tug, an invisible thread connecting you to planets, moons, and stars far beyond your reach. It does not demand obedience. Instead, it offers guidance, shaping your path without force, leading you toward regions where the universe's secrets are quietly held. The pull is soft, almost comforting, like the careful hands of a teacher guiding a child through a vast library of mysteries. Each star you pass is more than a point of light, it is a story, a living pulse of time. Some flicker faintly, young and tentative, their light barely brushing your awareness. Others blaze steadily, older and wiser, radiating warmth and certainty across the emptiness. You realize that to gaze upon them is to listen, to let their distant energy reach through the cold of space and touch something deep within you. In their light, you sense the unfolding of countless lifetimes, the slow turning of galaxies, the gentle folding of cosmic history. The darkness between the stars is not empty but textured, soft and layered, like velvet stretched over the curvature of the universe. Shadows curl around unseen forms, and in their quiet presence, you feel the first hints of something immense and unknowable. A black hole waits. You have read the descriptions, seen the simulations, but now you sense it not as a diagram or concept, but as a living presence, patient, silent, infinite. Its pull is nothing like the gravity of a planet. It is a stretching, a gentle but inexorable invitation to consider what lies beyond comprehension. Your mind drifts along with the gentle flow of light and gravity. You imagine that each photon of starlight traveling past you carries a message, a memory from the edge of the universe. Some light has journeyed for billions of years, weaving through the cosmic fabric, bending around massive structures, whispering across voids. You reach out, metaphorically, to catch one of these whispers, feeling the long, slow story of space and time unfold in your consciousness. Every particle, every wave, every shift of energy seems to pulse with intention, as if the universe itself is aware of its own quiet song. Around the black hole, the rules of reality stretch into something unfamiliar yet elegant. Light curves around its edge in delicate arcs, forming halos of impossible beauty. You notice the way matter spirals slowly inward, not in violent chaos, but as if obeying a secret choreography, each particle moving with graceful inevitability. Time seems to dilate here, a second feels like hours, hours like eons. The black hole is not just a trap but a mirror, reflecting your curiosity, your awe, your desire to understand something so far beyond your ordinary experience. You wonder how the invisible threads of gravity have orchestrated this cosmic dance. Every star, every planet, every drifting mote of dust follows the universal rhythm, and yet no one conductor is present. It is a silent symphony, where the music exists only in the relationships between objects, in the way mass and energy communicate across light years. You realize that understanding gravity is not about force alone, but about noticing patterns, feeling the harmony, and letting yourself drift within it, carried by invisible hands. As you glide nearer to the event horizon, the edge of the black hole, you notice subtle shifts in perception. Light from distant stars bends in strange ways, forming arcs and loops that defy your habitual sense of direction. Colors stretch and smear, creating soft rainbows across the darkness. You feel simultaneously drawn inward and gently held back, an awareness of thresholds beyond which comprehension may falter. Yet there is no fear here, only curiosity, the quiet insistence that some mysteries are invitations to wonder rather than problems to solve. You imagine what it might feel like to enter, to experience the singularity, the core where known physics bends into new forms. Perhaps space folds into itself like silk, smooth and infinite. Perhaps time dilates so completely that the past and future coexist, softly overlapping, like waves that never fully break. The mind cannot fully hold this vision, and yet your heart senses its rhythm, a beat that echoes the quiet pulse of all creation. Even as you approach, the black hole is not merely an ending, it is a threshold, a liminal space where endings and beginnings blur. You sense that every star's life, every photon's journey, every whisper of cosmic radiation is connected to this silence, this gravity-wrapped enigma at the heart of the void. It is a presence both terrifying in scale and tender in nature, as if the universe has folded its infinite wisdom into a single, patient watchfulness. You begin to drift alongside the orbiting matter, tracing its slow descent. Dust spirals and ribbons of light, faintly glowing with friction, carrying the memory of distant suns. Gas swirls in immense, unseen currents, bending to the rhythms of gravity. Each motion is a gentle reminder that nothing in space is random. The universe moves in quiet patterns, and if you are patient, you may sense the poetry hidden in the physics. You feel yourself as part observer, part participant, letting the rhythm guide your thoughts, your heartbeat, your very breathing. In this silent ballet, you realize that the black hole is not only a void, but also a storyteller. It holds the potential of stars, the memory of light, and the echoes of distant galaxies within its grasp. Its presence invites reflection, reminding you that even in the vast emptiness, there is structure, pattern, and subtle intimacy. To witness it is to connect with something eternal, a cosmic pulse that beats both outward and inward, touching the fringes of perception and the deepest recesses of feeling. Slowly, you allow yourself to drift farther out, letting the black hole's presence recede into the background, yet leaving its echo within you. You feel a gentle curiosity blossoming, a quiet hunger to follow the threads of gravity, light, and time wherever they may lead. Each star you pass, each subtle wave of energy, each bending of light invites you onward, toward new mysteries, toward deeper understanding. The cosmic night is vast, and you are but a single consciousness moving through it, yet wholly aware of the intricate, interconnected dance. The darkness holds no fear, only invitation. The stars pulse gently in their distant orbits. Gravity murmurs like a quiet friend. And the black hole waits, patient and unyielding, reminding you that some doors are opened not by force, but by the gentle curiosity of the mind. You begin your journey in a quiet stretch of space, where the light of distant stars falls like soft rain. Around you, planets glide slowly, tracing their elliptical paths as though following some unseen choreography. There is no rush here, only the gentle sway of celestial bodies, each responding to the invisible hand of gravity. You feel it, not as a force pulling you downward, but as a subtle suggestion, a coaxing that guides every motion. The planets do not fight it, they bend, they dance, they circle, entirely in harmony with what is around them. As you drift closer to a massive planet, you sense its weight through the very fabric of space. Time itself seems to slow near it, stretching like golden taffy, each moment lingering a little longer. You imagine standing on its surface, the ground solid beneath your feet, yet every atom of you drawn softly toward its core. This is gravity, intimate, silent, a universal companion that has guided matter since the dawn of existence. It is a quiet sculptor, shaping orbits, mountains, rivers, and even the rhythm of your own heartbeat if you could feel it here. A nearby asteroid drifts by, irregular in shape, its surface pocked with craters like the skin of some ancient being. You follow its path, noticing how it curves toward the larger planets, then away again, pulled subtly by forces you cannot see, yet intuitively understand. The asteroid is both free and tethered, a paradox that makes you smile. You recognize this as the essential nature of gravity. It binds without constraining, it connects without suffocating, it gives the universe its gentle rhythm. You move further, past the familiar pull of planets, toward a place where space seems to deepen, darker and thicker than anywhere else. Here, the black hole resides. You do not see it directly, its presence is a vibration in your chest, a resonance that you feel more than observe. It is as if the cosmos hums a single, low note, carrying with it the weight of infinite matter. Stars at a distance dance delicately, bending their light along the curves of invisible pathways. You drift alongside these luminous threads, mesmerized by their arc, aware that even photons, light itself, cannot escape entirely. Gravity here is different. It is no longer a gentle whisper, but a deep song. You feel the pull in waves, subtle then stronger, urging you to understand the interconnectedness of all things. You imagine space as a vast ocean of invisible threads, stretching from one mass to another, creating currents and eddies that guide planets, stars, and dust alike. You reach out with your mind and trace a thread from a distant comet to a nearby planet, from a massive star to the dark core of the black hole. Everything is connected, a web woven not of matter, but of influence, invisible yet undeniable. As you drift closer, you notice how the black hole's gravity warps the very light around it. Stars seem to bend, elongate, shimmer with a strange elegance. This is the universe whispering to you in a language of curves and distortions, of time stretched and twisted. You wonder if this is what it feels like to be at the edge of something infinite, a place where the familiar rules soften, where reality itself seems to ripple beneath your gaze. Here, Even your perception of time is elastic, each second drawn out like a silver thread that stretches into eternity. You let yourself float in this slow, expansive current, surrendering to the invisible rhythm. You think of the Earth, spinning quietly in its orbit, of the moon tracing its patient circle, and of distant galaxies swirling like gentle whirlpools in a cosmic stream. Each of these motions, while independent, is also inseparably tied to every other, a symphony orchestrated by gravity. You sense that the dance of the universe is not chaotic, but deeply ordered, a melody written in the language of mass and space. Everywhere you look, you see evidence of this connection. Rings of gas orbit young stars, spiraling with deliberate grace. Nebulae stretch like flowing scarves, their colors and shapes sculpted by unseen forces. Even the void between galaxies is not empty but a subtle canvas on which gravity paints its invisible strokes. You imagine the cosmos as a giant clockwork, each tick and tock set by the presence of mass, each movement in perfect, gentle synchrony. Your thoughts drift to the stars themselves, massive furnaces of energy that bend their surroundings, shaping space with every heartbeat of fusion. You imagine yourself shrinking to the size of a photon, racing along the curves of gravity, tracing the path of light as it arcs around massive objects. There is beauty here in understanding, the way matter communicates across vast distances, how a single planet can influence another light-years away, how the tiniest particle is bound by the same laws that govern supermassive black holes. You notice the subtle interplay between motion and stillness. A star spins, a planet orbits, a moon drifts, yet all are held by invisible strings, never severed, never truly free. There is a profound calm in this realization. Gravity is not a force of violence but of trust, a gentle hand guiding matter through the universe's slow, measured waltz. You feel gratitude for the quiet order that allows galaxies to form, planets to thrive, and life itself to emerge on distant worlds. Further on, you witness a cluster of stars dancing near the black hole's edge. Their light bends in arcs, painting luminous trails across the darkness. You imagine these trails as threads in a cosmic tapestry, each tugging, each influencing, each responding to the weight and presence of others. It is a delicate negotiation, a silent conversation, one without words yet full of meaning. You understand, in this moment, that gravity is both the stage and the performer, the canvas and the brush. You drift ever closer to the black hole, mindful of the immense pull that grows with proximity. Your body feels light, almost untethered, yet deeply aware of the invisible force guiding you. Here, gravity teaches you about limits, about how proximity can transform influence into something overwhelming, yet never malevolent. You see how matter itself bends toward the center, how space curves under weight, how time is drawn into the black hole's rhythm. There is no fear here, only reverence, a silent acknowledgement of a power that is infinite yet precise, terrifying yet sublime. You imagine falling through this curvature, not with panic, but with awe. Each second stretches into a tapestry of golden light and deep shadow, each moment a lesson in connection, influence, and balance. You feel the pull of the black hole as a teacher, a reminder of the universal principle that everything exerts influence, nothing exists in isolation, and every movement, no matter how small, shapes the universe around it. You let yourself linger here, suspended between awe and calm, between curiosity and comprehension. The gentle song of gravity continues around you, resonant in every motion, echoing through the planets, stars, and black holes alike. You sense the continuity of this cosmic dance, how each orbit, each spin, each thread of influence contributes to a greater, harmonious whole. And as you drift slowly away, leaving the black hole's immediate pull behind, you carry with you a deep understanding. Gravity is not merely a force. It is a whisper, a song, a connection that binds the cosmos in quiet, deliberate rhythm. It is the invisible pulse of the universe, the steady heartbeat beneath the vast, dark ocean of space, hinting at the unseen mysteries yet to unfold. You stand at the edge of something both immense and delicate. Before you, the event horizon hums quietly, a luminous boundary that shimmers with the faintest gold, as though the universe itself is breathing slowly, holding a secret just out of reach. You feel your heartbeat, gentle but insistent, echoing in the hollow silence of the surrounding void. Here, time does not flow as you expect. Each second stretches like honey, warm and viscous, then suddenly snaps past, leaving you with the curious sensation that moments both linger and vanish at once. Your eyes trace the light bending around the blackness. Stars behind you curve and twist as if the cosmos is being delicately wrapped around some invisible core. You notice the subtle distortion of shapes, the way space seems to fold upon itself like soft fabric in a slow dance. The horizon is no longer a line but a delicate curtain, its edges shimmering with the faint whispers of light that refuse to escape. You lean forward, but the veil does not yield. It feels alive, responsive to your gaze, almost aware of your presence. A quiet thought drifts through your mind. What is it to truly observe something that can never be fully known? You feel the tension between curiosity and caution, a gentle tug at the core of your awareness. The universe does not demand you step closer, it invites, softly, almost teasingly. You imagine the atoms of your body bending around unseen gravitational flows, your very essence feeling the subtle tug of an invisible tide. The black hole is not a void, it is a concentration, a deep, pregnant pause in the rhythm of existence. Your senses heighten. You feel the heat from radiation that cannot quite reach you, the tug of gravity that teases your every molecule. A strange calm settles over you as you notice the delicate balance of forces here, the pull of mass, the flow of energy, the curvature of space. You imagine this invisible architecture, the scaffolding of space-time itself, bending and bowing to the unseen music of the cosmos. Each moment, though stretched, feels complete, a perfect frame of awareness suspended in a quiet eternity. You let your mind wander into thought experiments, gentle mental play rather than frantic curiosity. If a beam of light fell towards the horizon, you imagine it slowing, its steps becoming infinitesimal, frozen against the passage of time as the black hole swallows its path. You consider what it would be like to float alongside that light, to watch your own perception warp and bend, to feel the very geometry of the universe wrap around you. There is no fear here, only awe and a soft, reflective curiosity. As you linger, your reflection catches in the faint glimmer of radiation at the edge. You see yourself not as you are but as an echo, stretched across dimensions, a ripple in the fabric of spacetime. Each heartbeat is a gentle drum that resonates with the distant pulses of collapsed stars, with the lingering whispers of galaxies. Time feels like a circle, but also a line, both moving and standing still. You feel simultaneously infinitesimal and infinite, a single observer and yet part of the vast unfolding continuum. You reach out a hand, imagining the space bending around your fingers. You do not touch, for nothing can truly touch the event horizon without being irrevocably changed. Yet, there is a satisfaction in this imagined contact, a recognition of the universe's subtle, patient presence. You consider the paradox of proximity. You are as close as possible without crossing, seeing as much as possible without consuming, existing fully in the liminal space between the known and the unknowable. A whisper of motion catches your attention. You imagine tiny particles, unbound from stars long dead, spiraling into the maw of the black hole. They are like sparks dancing toward darkness, each one carrying fragments of cosmic history. You trace their paths with your mind, noting how each curve tells a story of gravity's gentle insistence. It is not chaos but pattern, a choreography of inevitability, graceful and almost meditative. You feel your own curiosity aligning with this rhythm, a silent communion with the forces that shape everything you know. Time bends further. You sense that minutes may be hours, that hours may be seconds. The edge of the event horizon is a mirror to perception itself, revealing the fragile architecture of your own awareness. You feel a gentle dizziness, not unpleasant, as if floating in a current that moves you through both thought and being. Space curves around you, and you imagine the trajectories of stars and comets being tugged, stretched, and reshaped in a dance you cannot fully map but can sense in the marrow of your being. You think about light once more. A photon, released from some distant sun, now hovers near the horizon, caught in a liminal existence. It neither escapes nor falls entirely, forever circling, forever suspended. You feel kinship with that photon, suspended between movement and stillness, between certainty and the vast unknown. Here, at this boundary, you understand the poetry of physics. Every law is both a guide and a question, every force a melody, every limit a doorway to wonder. Gravity hums like a soft voice. It is everywhere yet invisible, gentle yet insistent. You imagine the atoms of your body responding, imperceptibly stretching along the lines of its invisible pull. You feel part of the rhythm, part of the dance of the universe, even as you remain separate, observing with tender awareness. You consider the paradox again, that in the presence of such immense force, you feel a delicate freedom, the freedom of being a witness to something far greater than yourself. Time continues to slip and stretch. You imagine falling, gently, impossibly, toward the horizon. Each thought of descent carries a sense of inevitability and serenity. You are a traveler on a quiet river of spacetime, following curves you can sense but not command. Your mind is aware of relativity, of clocks slowing and space stretching, but your heart measures only the slow, meditative pulse of existence. You notice the soft glow of accretion, the subtle swirls of matter spiraling inward, and you feel the unity of motion and stillness. You reflect on perspective. To an observer far away, you seem to hover eternally at the horizon, frozen by time's peculiar trick. To yourself, moments stretch and shimmer, each heartbeat an eternity. This duality is not confusing, it is a gift. You feel the quiet joy of understanding a glimpse of the universe's deeper poetry, the delicate intersection of perception, motion, and gravitational truth. You realize that in this pause, in this gentle suspension, lies a profound lesson. Beauty exists not only in what is known but in what cannot be fully touched. Your awareness expands beyond yourself. You feel the gravitational waves, the subtle tremors that ripple across space-time from far-off mergers of massive stars. You imagine these waves washing over your consciousness, faint, harmonious, carrying whispers of events long past. You sense the interconnectedness of everything, light, gravity, space, and time, all converging here at this quiet, glowing edge. You feel humility and wonder intertwined, as though the universe itself has leaned close to let you see its soft secret. A soft thought lingers: everything has a horizon, visible or invisible. Boundaries exist in the cosmos and in consciousness, in stars and in dreams. You consider the gentle invitation the event horizon extends: to observe, to linger, to contemplate without consuming, to experience without crossing. Here, at this edge, you feel a deep resonance with the eternal rhythm of space and time, a quiet communion with something vast and inscrutable. You take a slow, deliberate breath. The horizon shimmers in your vision, a luminous veil at once forbidding and tender. You feel the pull of curiosity, the desire to move closer, yet also the satisfaction of being exactly where you are. There is no rush. The universe permits patience, observation, and reflection. Every curve of light, every ripple of gravity, every infinitesimal motion whispers the same message. To witness is itself an intimate act, a meditation on existence. And as you linger at the threshold, you realize that the event horizon is not an ending but a threshold. You feel its quiet invitation to the next mystery, the next chapter of cosmic wonder waiting just beyond your perception. You approach slowly, letting your gaze drift across the empty stretches of space that surround it. The black hole does not announce itself with light or sound. Its presence is a quiet gravity, a pull that is felt in the chest, in the subtle tug of your own curiosity. You imagine the invisible threads connecting stars, dust, and dark matter to this singular point, stretching and bending across the cosmos like delicate, invisible silk. In the heart of the black hole, you sense energy moving in strange rhythms. Not in the hurried pulse of a city, but in the slow, deliberate thrum of the universe itself. This pulse is heat, a subtle glow of movement and change, a whisper of the vast transformations that occur where the rules of time and space twist upon themselves. You feel it as warmth brushing against your awareness, a reminder that even in the deepest darkness, motion and energy persist. Entropy drifts like dust caught in a quiet wind. Each particle, each photon, each minuscule vibration carries information about where it has been and what it has encountered. You imagine these details swirling inside the black hole, a library of cosmic memory written in the language of energy. No book could hold such knowledge. It is encoded in the patterns of motion, the spiraling dance of matter as it falls inward, and the radiation that escapes as gentle murmurs across the void. You remember the first law of thermodynamics, a law that feels like an old friend when faced with the mystery of the black hole. Energy is never destroyed, only transformed. You feel it ripple through space, shifting between matter, radiation, and gravitational pull, creating a balance that is invisible yet unbroken. You realize that the black hole is not a void of nothingness, but a hub of transformation, where the universe's energy is endlessly reshaped. The second law follows closely, whispering that entropy must increase, that the arrow of time moves forward. And yet, within this inevitable drift toward disorder, you sense subtle patterns forming, echoes of harmony within chaos. It is here, in the tension between inevitability and possibility, that the black hole reveals its quiet wisdom. You feel a rhythm in the disorder, a pulse that is at once chaotic and strangely serene. Imagine tracing the path of a single photon as it approaches the event horizon. You follow it with gentle curiosity, noting how space bends around it, how time itself stretches. There is a point where the photon seems to hover, suspended in both space and time, as if the universe has slowed its breath to accommodate this small observer. You wonder what stories it could tell, what traces of distant stars and galaxies it carries with it, encoded in vibrations too subtle to hear but perceptible to the mind willing to listen. Inside this invisible boundary, the singularity exerts its pull without restraint, yet even here, there is order. The mass that collapses inward is transformed into curvature, a deep concentration of gravity that shapes the surrounding space. You sense it not as a threat but as a profound force of nature, a sculptor of cosmic architecture. It teaches you that even the most extreme forms of matter follow rules, that there is a choreography hidden in what seems incomprehensible. Hawking radiation drifts outward like a faint, hesitant sigh. Particles appear at the edge, balancing creation and annihilation in a quiet act of cosmic generosity. You watch them scatter into space, tiny sparks of light escaping the grasp of gravity, carrying fragments of the black hole's secret. You think of information encoded in these particles, like messages cast into the night, ensuring that even the darkest corners of the universe are never truly silent. You feel entropy not as loss, but as communication. The heat, the radiation, the slow erosion of mass into energy, all are part of a dialogue, a cosmic conversation in which the black hole participates without haste or desire. It does not speak to command, but to inform, to shape the universe around it with the gentle insistence of law. Each particle, each wave, each tiny quantum fluctuation becomes a word in this ongoing story, revealing truths that are only visible to those who observe with patience and attention. Gravity here is intimate, personal even. You sense its subtle curves wrapping around you like a shawl, shaping your movement, guiding your attention. The black hole's pull is not violent when approached with respect. It is the natural consequence of the universe's geometry, a curvature that teaches the language of mass and motion. You breathe in its presence, letting your mind expand along the same curves that light follows, imagining the paths of stars as if they were dancers tracing invisible arcs in a grand ballroom. Time behaves differently here. You feel it stretching and folding, like a river that widens and deepens as it approaches an unseen waterfall. Seconds seem to linger longer, as if the universe is pausing to observe its own process. You understand that time itself is part of the black hole's pulse, intertwined with space, heat, and energy, inseparable from the cosmic flow you are witnessing. It is a meditation on continuity, on the delicate interplay of forces that govern all existence. You imagine the black hole as a heart, its beat slow but persistent, invisible yet undeniable. Each rhythm corresponds to the movement of mass, the release of energy, the careful balance of entropy. You feel the harmony in this pulse, a pattern emerging from the depths of chaos, reminding you that the universe is never truly silent, never entirely still. Even in darkness, there is motion, even in collapse, there is creation. The laws of thermodynamics are your companions here. They guide you gently, showing how energy flows, how heat spreads, how entropy increases yet carries information. They reveal that the apparent disorder of the black hole is not destruction, but transformation, a shift in form, a passage from one state to another. You feel a sense of intimacy with these principles, as if understanding them allows you to touch the pulse of the universe itself. You imagine the stars whose light has fallen into this darkness, each photon now caught in the black hole's embrace. And yet, even as it seems that they vanish forever, there is a trace, a memory encoded in the radiation, in the whispers of Hawking particles, in the subtle curvature of space itself. You feel the continuity of existence, the thread that connects what was, what is, and what may yet be. There is no abrupt ending, only transformation and dialogue between forms. Heat swirls with entropy, carrying subtle messages across invisible planes. You sense them not as noise, but as patterns, each one a fragment of understanding, each one a gentle reminder that chaos holds its own order. You let your mind drift along these currents, feeling the rhythm of the black hole as if it were a meditation, a quiet lesson in balance. You consider how this cosmic heartbeat connects to everything else, the planets, the stars, the interstellar clouds, and even yourself. You feel a subtle kinship, an awareness that the laws of nature that govern the black hole also govern your own body, your own energy, your own breath. You are part of the same flow, the same pulse, the same dance of transformation that the black hole embodies. And as you drift along the edge of understanding, you sense the delicate balance maintained here, gravity and energy, order and entropy, memory and forgetting. It is a place where science becomes poetry, where knowledge and wonder merge, and where you are invited to simply be, to observe, to feel, to understand without pressure. The black hole pulses quietly, an eternal heart in the darkness, and you follow its rhythm with gentle attention, knowing that each beat is part of a larger story yet to unfold. You feel the unity of matter and energy, the continuity of time and space, and the intimacy of the universe's most secret processes. In this quiet meditation, you realize that understanding is not a destination but a journey. The black hole does not yield all its secrets at once, it encourages patience, attentiveness, and respect. You feel a connection to its pulse, a soft awareness that even in the most extreme phenomena, there is a conversation, a subtle instruction on the balance of forces that shape existence. And as you allow yourself to linger in this gentle rhythm, you feel the faintest hint of another question, another layer of mystery waiting just beyond the veil of light and gravity, a continuation of the cosmic journey that will soon call your attention once again. You approach the edge of the black hole, not with fear, but with a quiet curiosity that hums through your chest like a gentle heartbeat. The horizon stretches before you, a boundary so elusive it almost seems to breathe. It is neither wall nor curtain, yet it holds a secret that the universe whispers only to those who pause long enough to listen. Tiny fluctuations ripple across its surface, like soft waves skimming the still waters of a midnight lake. Each ripple is a whisper of energy, a subtle dance that speaks in the language of the cosmos. At first, you see nothing. Space itself seems to sigh, heavy and unbroken, a vast canvas of dark velvet stretching in every direction. Then, very faintly, you notice them, particles, ephemeral and fleeting, appearing from nowhere. They shimmer into being and then vanish, as though reality itself were performing a quiet trick. These are the quantum fluctuations, small miracles of possibility that happen at the edge of everything. Some vanish before your mind can fully register them. Others linger just long enough to leave a trace, a brief fingerprint on the fabric of space. You lean closer, though no leaning is required. There is no gravity here as you know it. Instead, you feel a pull that is almost magnetic, a tender insistence that draws your awareness to the subtle motion of the invisible. The black hole does not consume in a hurry. It waits. It listens. It exists as a threshold, a place where the ordinary rules of presence and absence dissolve. Here, creation and disappearance are not opposites, they are parts of the same soft rhythm, the universe's quiet heartbeat. A tiny particle blinks into view, born from nothingness. Its glow is faint, like the distant shimmer of a single firefly on a summer night. You sense the impossibility of its existence and yet accept it without question. Time here is gentle, not measured in minutes or hours, but in the soft ebb of events that flicker and fade. The particle dances lightly across the edge of the black hole, only to dissolve a moment later, leaving behind a trail of possibility. You feel the trail in your chest, a resonance that is almost emotional, a faint vibration that mirrors the ebb and flow of your own thoughts. The space around you hums with a delicate energy, an underlying tone that seems to speak directly to your imagination. It is as though the universe itself is exhaling softly, each exhalation carrying a message that cannot be spoken aloud. You close your eyes and let the rhythm fill you, a gentle wave that moves through your bones. Quantum uncertainty is no longer a concept but a sensation, a tactile experience of the universe's quiet flexibility. What is there? What is not? The question itself begins to dissolve, leaving only the tender motion of possibility. A second particle appears, then a third. They form patterns too delicate to name, weaving through the invisible fabric with a grace that mirrors your own breath. You watch them, understanding that each moment is both fleeting and eternal. They are born from the vacuum, and in their brief lives, they illuminate the subtle truth that even emptiness is alive. The black hole is no longer a distant, threatening object. It is a partner in a dance you never knew you were a part of, guiding you to notice the invisible and the ephemeral. As you observe, you begin to notice the faint echoes of these fluctuations extending outward, past the horizon, into the void that surrounds it. The universe is not empty here, it is porous, alive with movement that cannot be fully grasped. Each tiny particle that appears and disappears sends ripples across this living sea, a communication that is subtle, almost too delicate to sense. Yet, you feel it. You feel the dialogue of presence and absence, a conversation that speaks in flickers of light and whispers of energy. Your mind drifts to the idea of Hawking radiation, the notion that black holes are not eternal voids but slowly leaking, softly singing their mass back into the universe. Each particle that escapes is a quiet confession, a gentle admission that nothing is permanent. The black hole teaches a profound patience, that disappearance is not an end, but a transformation. Even the most massive, seemingly invincible entity participates in the gentle cycle of birth and loss. You sense a kinship here, an understanding that the universe's quiet cadence mirrors your own fleeting moments, each one an intricate and delicate note in a vast, unseen symphony. The horizon seems to shift imperceptibly as you watch. It is not a line but a membrane, a thin veil through which the delicate dance of particles plays out. Some moments, a particle strays slightly from the edge and survives longer than expected. Some vanish almost instantly. There is unpredictability here, yes, but also an elegance, a hidden choreography that guides every flicker of light and shadow. You realize that to witness it fully, you must surrender your expectation of permanence and control. You must become a participant in the quiet rhythm, allowing the universe to speak in its natural cadence. Time stretches and contracts, not in a linear fashion, but like the gentle swelling of tides. You notice patterns emerging, delicate harmonies that weave the fleeting into the enduring. The horizon itself seems almost alive, bending slightly with each new particle that arrives, absorbing their energy, letting go in turn. It is as if the black hole is breathing along with you, matching the rise and fall of your awareness. In this shared rhythm, the line between observer and phenomenon dissolves. You are both witness and participant, each heartbeat a reflection of the quiet, infinite dance around you. Softly, you become aware of the universe's patience. It is not hurried. It does not demand understanding. It simply exists, allowing the ephemeral and the enduring to coexist in a gentle equilibrium. The ripples of energy, the fleeting glow of particles, the tender hum of spacetime itself, all remind you that even at the edge of darkness, there is wonder, beauty, and delicate movement. You feel gratitude for this small window into a larger truth, for the chance to witness creation in its quietest, most intimate form. And as the particles fade, leaving only the faintest trace of light behind, you realize that the horizon is not an end. It is a passage, an invitation to continue along a path of wonder and discovery. The dance of creation and disappearance continues, endless and tender, inviting you to follow its rhythm deeper, beyond what you can yet imagine. You feel the gentle pull of the next horizon, the promise of new mysteries, a subtle curiosity that tingles at the edge of thought. The black hole hums softly, a lullaby in the language of the cosmos. You close your eyes and listen, letting the subtle resonance fill your awareness. There is no rush, only the slow, meditative unfolding of reality. Tiny fluctuations ripple once more across the edge, whispering of the next chapter, the next revelation, the next quiet miracle waiting just beyond your gaze. The horizon waits, patient and eternal, as you prepare to follow its whisper further into the cosmic tide. You lean into the silence of the universe, letting it cradle you. Around you, stars hum their quiet songs, each a distant lighthouse, each a pulse of light traveling across the vast oceans of space. And there, in the heart of the infinite night, you feel the presence of something darker, heavier, yet strangely tender, a black hole. It is a place that has swallowed light, yet somehow, in its own mysterious way, it whispers back. Imagine standing on the edge of the unknown, gazing into a void that seems endless. It is not frightening, not when approached with curiosity. It is a deep, profound invitation. You feel time stretching, bending, like soft taffy in slow motion. And here, at the edge of that gravitational abyss, Stephen Hawking once imagined something remarkable, a faint warmth, a gentle glimmer, a whisper of light escaping where nothing should. Hawking looked at the mathematics of black holes, those cosmic objects so dense they trap even light. Yet his mind, playful and patient, revealed a secret: even the deepest darkness cannot remain entirely silent. Quantum particles, born in the restless void, dance at the edge of the event horizon. Some vanish into the black hole's interior, and others escape, drifting away as soft radiation. This is now known as Hawking radiation, and it carries the memory of the black hole into the cosmos. Picture these particles like tiny snowflakes falling from an invisible sky, each carrying a trace of the black hole's essence. They drift, slow and deliberate, across the black canvas of space. You imagine reaching out, feeling their delicate touch, a reminder that even in the most extreme places, there is a language of subtlety, of quiet movement, of gentle influence. The black hole, which devours everything, also gives a whisper back, and in this, you see a kind of cosmic kindness. Curiosity becomes a companion here. You follow the story of a mind that refused to be limited by fear or darkness. Stephen Hawking, sitting in his chair, fragile and still, explored universes with a thought alone. You imagine him smiling at equations that bend time and space like silk, revealing truths hidden in the folds of the cosmos. The black hole becomes not a monster, but a teacher. It challenges you to understand the impossible, to see beyond what is immediately visible. And in this gentle unfolding, you feel time differently. The radiation that escapes a black hole is almost unimaginably slow. In a single human lifetime, it barely shifts. Yet over eons, these faint particles carry away mass, whispering the story of collapse, endurance, and change. You feel the patience of the universe, a slow breath that does not rush, does not hurry. You are reminded that understanding, like light, sometimes emerges from places where it seems impossible. Imagine a particle at the very edge, trembling with possibility. One moment it exists as a fleeting quantum fluctuation, the next it escapes into the void, carrying information, carrying a fragment of a story that will drift across the universe for trillions of years. You watch this dance, and in it, you recognize a mirror of your own curiosity, small, tentative, yet powerful in its persistence. You see that even the smallest act of exploration leaves an imprint, no matter how faint. The black hole is no longer simply a dark emptiness. It hums with secrets, soft and patient. Each particle of radiation becomes a note in a cosmic melody, one that takes millions of years to complete, yet is already in motion, unfolding with the quiet grace of inevitability. You listen, and feel your thoughts align with this rhythm, slower now, attuned to the gentle pulse of space and time. You wander in imagination along the spiraling path of light bending around the black hole. Photons stretch and shimmer, like threads of silk in a breeze. Some circle for moments that seem eternal, tracing invisible rings, before surrendering to the pull of gravity. Others escape, becoming the whispering snowflakes of radiation. You feel both the weight of what is trapped and the tenderness of what escapes, learning that even the most complete darkness cannot silence the universe entirely. There is a kind of poetry here, a rhythm in the very mathematics that Hawking discovered. You think about the paradoxes he embraced, black holes that grow yet evaporate, emptiness that carries information, silence that hums with the energy of the cosmos. You feel that understanding is not about conquering the unknown, but about listening to it, letting it teach you its own language. The black hole becomes a mirror, reflecting the depth and subtlety of curiosity itself. You imagine the first particles drifting away, imperceptible yet significant. Perhaps they carry information about a star that once lived and died, or about a world that never formed. Each is a note of memory, a gentle assertion that nothing, not even the most absolute void, is entirely lost. You feel a quiet hope here, that even in endings, there is continuity, and in silence, there is a story waiting to be heard. Time continues to stretch and fold. You watch the cosmic snowflakes travel, slow and deliberate, across distances unimaginable. They will drift for trillions of years, and yet, even in their faintness, they speak. They tell of forces and motions, of collapse and persistence, of the brilliance that arises when mind and universe meet. You feel a soft awe, not of fear, but of profound appreciation. And here, in this gentle reflection, you realize that the warmth Hawking imagined is not just physical. It is metaphorical too, the warmth of insight, the quiet glow of curiosity, the human desire to understand. You feel it as a presence beside you, soft, reassuring, a companion on the journey through the night. Even when all seems dark, there is a faint, persistent light. Your thoughts drift back to the observer at a safe distance, peering into the black hole. You feel the pull of wonder, a gravitational attraction that is not dangerous but magnetic. Curiosity bends around you, folds you gently into its orbit. You realize that every discovery, every fleeting particle of understanding, is a shared experience between mind and universe, a moment of connection that stretches across time. As the black hole whispers its gentle song, you feel a sense of continuity. The universe is vast, but not indifferent. Each particle, each ray of escaping radiation, each ripple of understanding, becomes part of a greater whole. You are connected to this cosmic story, a participant in its slow unfolding. And in this, you find a calm, meditative rhythm, the rhythm of knowing that even the deepest darkness carries a soft light within it. The snowflakes of radiation continue their journey, indifferent to the eons they traverse. You follow them in imagination, not seeking to catch them, but to understand their path, to feel the passage of time through their gentle drift. You realize that knowledge, like these particles, is subtle, persistent, and patient. It unfolds not all at once, but in quiet increments, revealing the universe one whisper at a time. And so, leaning into the stillness, you breathe with the cosmos. The black hole remains, massive and eternal, yet not silent. Its whispers linger in your mind, and in them, you hear the gentle promise of more wonder, more discovery, more stories that stretch beyond human comprehension. You feel the soft glow of curiosity lighting your inner universe, echoing the faint warmth that Hawking imagined, guiding you onward. You approach the edge of the black hole not with fear, but with quiet wonder, as if stepping onto the banks of a river you've only heard in distant whispers. The light here seems to soften, as if the photons themselves hesitate before leaving, lingering in gentle arcs and slow arcs of color. You notice how time itself feels different, a river that curves and folds, stretching moments into long, reflective breaths. 1 second can feel like an hour, yet an hour can vanish in the blink of your mind. The universe teaches patience here, in a language that is felt more than understood. Your thoughts drift with this river. You feel the pull, subtle but persistent, like a current that does not rush, yet carries everything forward. You consider your own life on Earth, where seconds are sharp and relentless, ticking in mechanical insistence. Here, time seems pliable, more like a melody than a clock, a soft, slow unfolding where events do not press but ripple. You float in the realization that the cosmos has rhythms entirely foreign to your everyday sense of hurry. It is a meditation in motion. The black hole itself is not menacing. It is a gentle giant, a curvature in space-time that stretches the fabric of existence like a soft, deep canvas. Its gravity does not shout, it whispers. You imagine it bending the invisible threads of time, tugging at them lightly, elongating moments, folding them back upon themselves. Here, seconds are not equal, minutes are not reliable, and hours can feel like fragile bubbles, expanding and compressing in a dance too subtle for your clocks to measure. As you hover near this slow-flowing river, you notice the light of distant stars streaking in long arcs across your vision, each ray a delicate brushstroke on the dark canvas of space. You imagine these arcs as threads in a grand tapestry, where each thread can stretch and twist, carrying the memory of time along with it. Every photon you see has traveled vast distances, yet arrives not hurriedly, but with calm persistence, as if the journey itself is the purpose. The universe seems to be teaching you that time is less about quantity and more about experience, a lesson that can only be felt through patient observation. You allow your mind to drift with these thoughts. You notice how your own sense of self seems to loosen, unspooling gently like a ribbon caught in the river's current. You are both observer and participant, a consciousness that is flowing alongside the bending of spacetime. Your memories feel different here. Past and present interlace like strands of silk, and you sense that every moment carries echoes of others, even those not yet lived. The feeling is neither dizzying nor disorienting, it is simply expansive, an invitation to rest in the quiet elongation of now. Time near the black hole is a teacher of humility. You feel your usual urgency is fading, replaced by a gentle curiosity. You begin to notice how your breathing synchronizes with the subtle rhythm of spacetime. Inhale, and the current of time seems to carry a small eternity with it. Exhale, and you release the familiar rush of seconds, letting them curl and stretch into the void. You become aware of the paradox. Although time stretches and slows, nothing truly stops. Everything flows, continuously, patiently, as if the universe itself has taken a deep, unhurried breath. You imagine yourself stepping closer to the black hole, yet you are not pulled violently. Instead, there is a graceful pull, almost like a hug from gravity itself, guiding you to understand without force. You see objects around you, particles, dust, distant starlight, following arcs that seem choreographed, movements slowed and softened. Even the notion of cause and effect seems more fluid here. A thought arises, and then another, not in rapid succession but in a measured unfolding. You realize that near this singularity, time and causality are partners in a delicate dance, bending together in silent harmony. Your mind touches gently on the idea of seconds stretching into centuries. You picture a pebble dropped into a pond, its ripples expanding far beyond the place it first touched. Near the black hole, these ripples of time do not fade quickly. They linger, stretching across spacetime with patience and grace. You understand, intuitively, that the universe does not measure urgency. It measures presence. It values the soft unfolding of existence, and in this way, it teaches a lesson you can carry back with you. That each moment, however fleeting it may seem, has a quiet depth. You let your attention drift to the stars surrounding you. Light curves gracefully as it bends around the black hole, creating arcs and halos, small loops of radiance that dance slowly across your vision. The cosmos here is a painting in motion, a fluid brushstroke of time and light. You notice the colors shifting imperceptibly, from deep indigo to soft violet, from cold silver to warm gold. Each hue is a note in a symphony that stretches beyond your usual comprehension. You sense that observing these changes, even passively, is a form of listening, a meditation in which you are both participant and audience. Thoughts of your ordinary life, with its schedules and deadlines, drift away like leaves on a river. Here, only the flow matters, the gentle stretching and compressing of moments, the soft rhythm that exists without demand. You feel a subtle joy in the awareness that you are witnessing the world differently. Each breath, each heartbeat, each shift in thought is magnified, drawn out, allowing you to perceive the hidden texture of time itself. You are learning patience not as a concept, but as a lived experience, felt in the delicate unfolding of seconds into what feels like eternity. You notice a tiny particle of cosmic dust floating nearby. In your mind, it becomes a traveler, carried by the currents of gravity, its path slow and deliberate. You imagine it witnessing the stretching of time, the soft arcs of light, the gentle bends of spacetime itself. Its journey mirrors yours, small, observant, part of a vast symphony. You realize that even the tiniest elements of the universe are participants in this patient, rhythmic flow. Time here is not just a measurement, but a living, breathing experience, shared by all who exist in its presence. Your mind gently contemplates the passage of light, how photons that left distant stars millions of years ago arrive in slow arcs, as if they have been savoring the journey. You sense that near a black hole, the universe itself takes a moment to pause, to stretch, to observe. You are part of this observation, quietly aware, your thoughts elongating with the currents of gravity. Each moment becomes more luminous, more textured, more resonant. You realize that the stretching of time does not diminish life, it enriches it, allowing awareness to deepen and expand. As you continue to drift in this river of time, you feel a soft connection to the cosmic dance unfolding around you. The black hole, the stars, the particles, and even your own thoughts are threads in a vast tapestry, interwoven by the gentle bending of spacetime. There is no rush here, no urgency, only a slow, deliberate unfolding of reality. You sense the subtle poetry of the universe, a rhythm not measured in hours or minutes, but in the soft, enduring pulse of existence. You linger in this understanding, letting the currents of time carry your consciousness forward. You feel a quiet serenity, a meditative presence that expands without strain. The universe is patient, and so are you. Moments stretch, thoughts flow, and the river of time carries you gently toward the unknown. You wonder what lies ahead, curious but unhurried, ready to follow the current wherever it may lead, knowing that the journey itself is the teaching. You drift slowly through the cosmos, weightless, carried on invisible currents of light and gravity. Around you, the stars whisper faintly, their vibrations delicate enough to be mistaken for silence. You lean closer, as if you could catch the stories they carry, the memories etched into their photons since time immemorial. Each glimmer is a fragment of something once whole, now journeying across the vast emptiness, a traveler with no destination. You feel a quiet curiosity stir within you, a soft longing to understand how the universe preserves its own secrets. Somewhere ahead, a black hole waits. It is not a monster in this narrative, but a patient archivist. Its event horizon is the threshold of the known and unknown, the surface where reality itself seems to hesitate. You approach, aware that anything crossing this invisible line disappears from ordinary sight, yet, somehow, nothing is ever truly gone. It is as if the black hole listens more than it consumes, absorbing stories like a sponge, cataloging the essence of every particle, every wave of energy that drifts too close. You imagine the path of a single photon, racing across millions of light-years, finally caught by the black hole's gravitational embrace. It curves, spirals, becomes part of an intricate, invisible dance you cannot see but can almost sense. In that spiral, nothing is erased, nothing is destroyed in the way you fear. Instead, it is transformed, its history folded into the greater ledger of the cosmos. The black hole is a library without shelves, a quiet keeper of tales written in light and gravity. You can almost hear the echoes, soft and persistent, like murmurs in a cavern, fragments of collisions, of stars consumed, of matter stretched and contorted, yet remembered. Your mind wanders to the idea of information itself. What does it mean to lose something? A message sent, a particle absorbed, a thought dissolved into time. Do these truly vanish, or are they woven into the fabric of existence in ways you cannot yet see? You realize that even the smallest events, the tiniest exchanges of energy, leave imprints that ripple outward indefinitely. Every flutter of existence, no matter how brief, contributes to an intricate cosmic pattern. And here, before the black hole, you feel the weight of these invisible patterns, each one a whisper against the silence. You notice the way space-time bends around the black hole, a subtle warping that reminds you of ripples on a still pond. Here, the laws of physics do not break, they simply stretch and curve, revealing hidden dimensions of reality. You imagine a particle nearing the edge, pulled toward an unknown fate. Time slows for it, bending into a quiet elongation, moments stretching into eternity. For an outside observer, it seems to freeze, hovering on the brink. Yet you know that inside, within the depths beyond observation, it continues its journey, contributing to the archive that the black hole maintains with impartial patience. There is a strange beauty in this slow surrender, a rhythm that resonates with your own breath. You realize that the cosmos is not a place of destruction but of transformation. Nothing is truly lost, it only changes form. The light that disappears from your eyes is captured elsewhere, the information encoded into the structure of spacetime itself. Even in the apparent absence, there is presence, a hidden narrative that the black hole gently keeps. You feel a sense of calm, an understanding that loss is not annihilation but transmutation. As you float, you begin to imagine the stories held within this silent archivist. Perhaps a star, vibrant and massive, once blazed with life, now folded into the black hole's memory. Perhaps a comet, icy and bright, carries the echoes of collisions past, now interwoven with the black hole's own gravitational tapestry. Every particle that enters contributes to a cosmic memory bank, each trajectory recorded in a language beyond your comprehension yet somehow recognizable as order. It is a living chronicle, continuously updated, infinitely patient. You think about the universe as a storyteller. It speaks not in words, but in patterns, in the subtle dance of matter and energy. The black hole, you realize, is a custodian of this narrative, safeguarding histories that would otherwise vanish. You feel a connection to this process, a shared participation in the gentle preservation of truth. There is no need for hurry, no need for understanding in full, it is enough to witness, to sense the slow accumulation of cosmic memory. Each observation, each whisper of light, is a testament to continuity, a reassurance that existence is persistent and ever-reflective. You pause to consider Hawking radiation, the delicate leakage of energy from the black hole's boundary. Even here, nothing is entirely silent. The black hole speaks softly, a quiet reminder that nothing is static. It shares traces of itself, faint signals that hint at the vast stories contained within. Information, it seems, finds its way outward in subtle gestures, preserving a dialogue with the universe. You feel the profound humility of this revelation, that even in the most extreme conditions, communication is possible, that history can never be entirely hidden. Time flows gently around you as you drift closer, senses attuned to the whispers of energy. You imagine the entanglement of particles, pairs separated by light years yet forever linked, carrying fragments of one another's existence. The black hole, with all its gravity, becomes a nexus of these connections, a quiet node in an intricate web of cosmic relationships. In this web, you see the continuity of information, the persistence of memory, the enduring echo of every existence. You are part of this web, just as much as the distant stars, just as much as the light spiraling into the abyss. You feel a tender sense of awe, a realization that the universe's vastness is not indifferent but attentive. Every interaction, no matter how minuscule, leaves a mark. Every particle, every wave, every flicker of light contributes to an ongoing, unfolding story. And at the center, the black hole is not an end but a quiet intermediary, a bridge between the seen and unseen, the known and unknowable. It preserves, transforms, and eventually, in ways you cannot yet fully grasp, communicates back the essence of all that it holds. Slowly, you begin to drift away, leaving the black hole behind, yet carrying its lessons with you. You understand now that the universe has its own rhythm, one that includes the delicate preservation of information, the gentle encoding of histories into space and time. You feel a quiet gratitude for the patience of the cosmos, for the invisible archivists that ensure nothing is ever entirely forgotten. As you move onward, you sense the subtle links connecting this chapter to the next, a journey that continues, unfolding into questions about light, energy, and the unending dance of existence. You realize that to lose is only to change form, that the whispers of information are everywhere, softly echoing across cosmic canyons, awaiting a listener willing to perceive them. And as you float toward the next horizon, you carry the comforting thought that everything persists, quietly, gently, in a memory too vast to be measured, too beautiful to be lost. You imagine the black hole, vast and still, resting at the edge of your awareness. It is not simply an absence of light, nor a void of nothingness, it is a presence shaped by gravity's invisible hands, bending space itself as if drawing the universe close. You feel its pull, not as fear, but as a rhythm, subtle and profound, like the soft inhale of a sleeping world. Time stretches near it, slower, deeper, as if the universe itself pauses to watch. In this quiet, you notice something almost imperceptible. A gentle drift of energy escapes the black hole's grasp. This is not loud or violent. It is a cosmic sigh, an evaporation whispered across the canvas of space. Stephen Hawking imagined this as a soft leakage, a slow unwinding of the black hole's essence. Each particle carries a memory of what once fell into the darkness, a story that floats outward in delicate traces. You picture these particles leaving one by one. It is a patient process, a dance that takes eons. To the eye, it might seem nothing has changed. The black hole remains immense, shadowed, eternal. Yet the universe teaches you a quiet truth: even the strongest forces yield to time's gentle insistence. Slowly, imperceptibly, the black hole loses a measure of itself, as if exhaling after a long, timeless meditation. Your mind drifts to the idea of energy and matter. Everything that fell into the black hole, every star, every wandering speck of dust, every photon of light, once part of ordinary existence, now transforms. You understand that disappearance is not a vanishing, but a reshaping. The black hole's mass, its very presence, diminishes, and what escapes is a faint glow of transformation. You feel that glow not just with your mind, but as a warmth in your chest, a subtle understanding that endings in the cosmos are more like turning pages than closing books. As the black hole continues its quiet surrender, you sense patterns emerging in the surrounding space. Ripples of radiation drift outward, gentle waves across the cosmic ocean. These are not chaotic, they carry a memory of the black hole's immense gravity, a signature of the forces that once held tight. And yet, there is serenity in this release, as if the universe itself is breathing, exhaling weight, inhaling possibility. You recognize in these ripples a rhythm familiar to your own body. Inhale, exhale, a soft pulse of life. You might wonder what happens in the final moments of this evaporation. The black hole does not vanish abruptly, as if erased. Instead, it becomes a whisper, a faint note in the symphony of the cosmos. The last particles drift free, carrying stories of a gravitational embrace that shaped worlds. And in that final sigh, there is no emptiness, only continuity, a gentle merging back into the vast expanse. Your thoughts wander to entropy, the slow scattering of order into a quiet harmony. You understand that the black hole's evaporation is not disorder, but transformation. Energy is never destroyed, it only changes form. What was once concentrated into an overwhelming darkness spreads outward in subtle warmth, touching distant space with traces of its existence. There is comfort in this, a reassurance that even what seems lost remains, in some form, part of the universe's ongoing story. You feel yourself floating among the stars, carried along by invisible currents of gravity and light. Time feels pliable here, expanding and contracting with your thoughts. You imagine watching a black hole over the course of 1 billion years, patient as the universe itself, giving and taking in slow, rhythmic cycles. You sense a lesson in patience. Some changes are imperceptible in the moment, yet profound across the span of eternity. In your mind, the black hole is no longer a fearsome void. It is a teacher of quiet transformation, a reminder that endings are not abrupt but gentle, slow, and deliberate. The universe teaches you that disappearance is not loss, it is a shift of form, a soft, persistent dance of energy and matter. You feel a connection to all things that transform and endure, from the tiniest particle to the largest celestial body. And as you linger in this thought, you notice the delicate glow of Hawking radiation spreading outward, a shimmer of continuity across the cosmic sea. It is a reminder that even in apparent endings, there is always a beginning, a transition, a transformation, a story that continues in subtle ways. You breathe with this rhythm, inhaling the quiet wisdom of cosmic change, exhaling the knowledge that even darkness evolves, releasing its secrets gently to the universe. The black hole's evaporation becomes a meditation on impermanence and endurance. You feel the slow passage of energy, the transfer of essence from one state to another. Even the densest, most absolute darkness cannot resist the gentle insistence of time and transformation. And in this meditation, you discover a soft truth. The universe does not destroy, it whispers, it reshapes, it flows. And so you linger, suspended in thought and wonder, watching the black hole's patient exhale. It teaches you that disappearance is never final, that transformation is serene, and that every ending, however vast and mysterious, carries within it the seed of continuity. In the quiet glow of drifting particles, you sense a story just beginning, inviting you to follow its unfolding in the next chapter of the cosmos. You are floating in a quiet corner of the universe, where the last whispers of a black hole ripple gently through the surrounding space. Its presence, once so commanding and immense, now softens into a shadowy memory, like a fading echo of a deep bell. There is no fear here, only a gentle recognition of immense power, slowly becoming still. You notice how the edges of reality blur slightly, and in that blur, the universe seems more tender, more watchful of you. As you drift closer to a field of twinkling stars, their light dances slowly across the void. Some shine with the quiet brilliance of young suns, bright and eager to tell their stories. Others glow dimly, older and wiser, sharing the lessons of eons without a sound. You imagine the journeys of countless photons traveling across unimaginable distances, carrying the soft light of home worlds and faraway skies. Each twinkle is like a heartbeat in the silence, a gentle pulse that reminds you of the rhythm of all existence. You allow your mind to rest here, carried on a current of cosmic tranquility. Galaxies stretch in wide, spiral arms, slow and deliberate, spinning in a dance older than you can fully comprehend. You notice how even the vastest structures seem mindful, as if every star, every planet, every swirling cloud of dust has its place in a choreography you are allowed to witness. The universe doesn't hurry, it moves with purpose and grace, and in its quiet pace, you feel yourself slowing too. Imagine drifting alongside a comet, its tail a shimmering ribbon of ice and light. You follow it through the dark, feeling the soft pressure of gravity guide your path. Gravity is not just force here, it is the gentle hand of the cosmos, leading, coaxing, drawing all things together, and letting them go again. The comet arcs gracefully past distant suns, past nebulae glowing faintly in colors your mind cannot name. Its movement is calm, measured, and you understand, in a quiet way, that everything, planets, moons, stars, and even time itself, is part of a grand conversation of motion and light. The black hole you left behind lingers in your thoughts, not as a monster or void, but as a teacher. You consider its pull, its hunger, its role in the life of galaxies. It teaches you about endings and beginnings, the flow of energy, and the inevitability of change. Stars fall into its embrace, not in violence, but as part of a cosmic cycle that renews and reshapes. You realize that even in seeming emptiness, there is purpose, and in disappearance, there is transformation. Far away, the edge of a nebula glows softly, like a watercolor spilled across the darkness. You approach it slowly, feeling its warmth and weightlessness. Gas swirls in delicate, sweeping patterns, and you notice the tiny spark of new stars forming within. You think of life on Earth, and how, on a small scale, it mirrors this quiet formation, the way ideas, feelings, and growth emerge from seeming emptiness. The universe is creating, always, in ways both gentle and unfathomable. You drift further, letting yourself sink into a comfortable rhythm with the cosmos. Time seems less urgent here, seconds stretch into centuries, and yet every moment feels complete. You hear a faint hum, a vibration beneath the silence. It is the song of the universe itself, subtle and deep, connecting everything. The hum is not noise, it is the presence of connection, a reminder that even across unimaginable distances, nothing is ever truly alone. You rest in that connection, letting it seep into your awareness, softening any tension, any lingering restlessness. A distant galaxy rotates slowly, its spiral arms stretching into the darkness. Stars within it blink like distant lanterns, each one carrying its own story. You imagine the lives of planets circling those stars, worlds you may never touch, yet whose existence brushes against your mind. Life and matter are intertwined, spiraling endlessly in quiet patterns, sometimes colliding, sometimes merging, but always moving. You feel the serenity of that movement, a reassurance that even in the vast unknown, there is a rhythm, a gentle order that holds all things. Your thoughts turn again to the black hole, now a soft memory at the edge of vision. You consider its scale, its silent influence over light, time, and space. Its presence is both a warning and a comfort, a reminder that the universe is vast, mysterious, and profoundly patient. You understand, without urgency, that you are a small part of something immeasurably large, and yet your attention, your curiosity, and your wonder are threads in the same cosmic fabric. The stars continue to twinkle as you move among them. Nebulae bloom with quiet brilliance, comets arc with grace, and the black hole rests like a sleeping giant in the distance. You feel a gentle pull, not of gravity, but of thought, a soft curiosity that nudges you forward. What will you discover next in the boundless night? What lessons will drift past your consciousness as you float further, further into the universe's calm embrace? You do not need to answer, you simply allow the questions to hover, tender and unsolved, like lullabies carried on the dark. Slowly, the edge of your vision softens, stars blurring into one another as if they are aware of your gentle departure from this corner of space. You carry the memory of the black hole, the warmth of distant galaxies, and the quiet rhythm of cosmic motion with you. There is no rush, there is only the gentle unfolding of awareness, the soft tide of thought merging with the quiet of the cosmos. You notice that with each heartbeat, you are more in tune with this vast, gentle expanse, more at peace with the flow of creation itself. As you drift, the universe hums softly around you. There are questions still lingering, whispers of curiosity that rise and fade in harmony with the stars. You feel the depth of everything and the quiet presence of all things moving together. And as your mind floats, gentle and unhurried, you understand that this is only the beginning of your journey. There is more to see, more to imagine, more to feel. You allow your awareness to stretch toward the next distant glow, a faint light calling softly from beyond your current path. You do not yet know what it will reveal, nebula, star cluster, or another whisper of a black hole, but you trust the slow rhythm of the universe, and let your mind follow the gentle current. The night is endless, and the cosmos infinite, and you drift in wonder, carried forward by questions that sing softly, like lullabies for thought.